Okay, here we're gonna go through kind of the 3 stages I have for the quail in different enclosures. When they come out of the incubator, I put them in a bin like this. You want to keep them about 100 degrees for that first week. So I just put a heat lamp on top of here on one side, the opposite side of the food and water. The first week or first maybe 3 to 5 days, I'll have newspaper or just paper towels on the floor because their feet aren't real great. They're a little wobbly. It takes them a couple days to get their stance and stuff. So once the first cleaning, after I clean this bin, maybe after the 3 to 5 days, I will go ahead and switch it over to to cedar chips. And also in the beginning, we would, in the water there, I'll fill that outside rim with marbles. You can use pebbles, anything like that. When they're little, they drown very easily. They'll drown very easily. So you keep that in there to keep the water shallow for them. Anything to keep that water real shallow. And then same thing with the food. I won't actually screw the jar on top of there because we've had them burrow up in there and get their head stuck in up in there. So I don't keep that jar on. I just hand the food, I run it through like a coffee grinder, and so I grind up just the same as the adult food, but for the first 3-4 weeks we give them ground up food. These birds here are holdbacks just because I like the way they look, and I'm trying to increase my female count here a little bit. And so that these are all very cool. I like the Italian look, and this one looks like a silver tuxedo, which is really neat. And that one I'm not sure what it's going to turn into. But anyways, I put the food up on a little blocks just to keep it from filling up with cedar so fast. They're busy little guys, so they mess everything up. But, if I keep them a little bigger in the winter time, I'll keep them indoors longer. I keep them indoors for the first, say, 3 to 4 weeks, depending on the weather. Like these guys, these are 3.5 weeks old, and they're about to go outside here until they mature enough to tell who's a female. I only want to add some females to my flock. So yeah, if you're in Southern California, I'm constantly giving away males. But anyway, so yeah, if I keep them indoors a little longer, I use this little watering system and that little feeder system, because if they get much bigger than that, I can just fill this full of food, turn it down, and feed them that way. But so very simple, but this little bin system works great for, until they're 3, 4, 5 weeks old. By 6 weeks old, they're pretty much mature. But this, I wanna keep these until I can tell who's a female, who's a male, and they're mature enough to put in there with the big birds. So we'll go ahead and put these guys in here. Snickers, be good puppies. At this stage, they're not really flying, they're just getting their feathers. So, perfect. And so this is my little grow out bin. I actually got it, I think someone had some box turtles in it. I got it off Craigslist or something, but very simple, but perfect for this. I grow birds out in this all the time. Just flips open. I can put a little board on top of there. If it's raining or anything, I just lay a board on there, put a little weight on there to keep any raccoons out, but I haven't had any issues with them getting in here. Very simple watering system. It's just a PVC tube. I siliconed onto a square sheet of plastic, drilled some holes, and inserted these little feeders. These little feeders you can get online, are very easy, and they pack, and it fills it up with water. Very cool. And so this lasts them for like a week of water or more when I have a full batch of 20 birds in here. So very good. And now at this age, I'll go ahead and add their other water in, clean that out, add their other water. And I will throw more aspen over there, some shavings. At this point, I'll still give them maybe one more batch, fill the jar up with ground food one more time, and then after that, pretty much just to move them to the adult food. But very simple, but very works very well. Keeps them protected. Good way to grow them out, and so you can until you can tell who's male and female. Another little trick I use when I'm not sure, when they're getting into that maybe 4 to 5, maybe 6 week range, and some of these colors you can't tell by the colors if they're male or not. They never like to be alone from the time they're babies on. If you separate them, they get real nervous. They do not like to be alone. So I have just put them in a little cage by himself, and if it's a male, it'll start crowing even before you'd ever heard them. They'll figure it out real quick. So I've used that to figure out males in a pinch, and it works really good. But okay, and then here's the main pen. I just built it off the side of my garage, and so the roof runs just underneath my garage roof line, and it's I believe 14 feet long and 4 feet deep, and I don't know, I made it tall enough to walk around in there, and also I have diamond doves so they can fly around and nest. I got some of this roll-up bamboo here. I use that for storms. I can just roll it out, hook it up. I got just zip tie it onto these little hooks. I use that for when it's stormy, or we get real in the summer, sometimes some real bad afternoon sun that heats up real bad here. So put that on there, and it keeps them protected from the heat. Also have one on the other side, which we get winds that come down the canyon here. We kind of live at the base of a canyon, so winds come down and we get the cold winds there. So that's actually more for the doves than for the quail, but it keeps them protected. I haven't had to put anything across the front, even, and we had some heavy rains this year, not a problem. It's got a little carabiner on there, simple gate latch, and there's one of the diamond doves right there. Hey, watch out. Hey, some of these white ones are so friendly. And these are the A&Ms, or English whites. Here's diamond doves. Beautiful birds. They just started. They had let eggs for me for the first time. The first time it was only one. Didn't hatch. This last time they had 2, but they didn't hatch either. She just abandoned them. So, but beautiful. World's smallest bird, or world's smallest dove, from Australia. Very cool. But they do great out here all year long. No problem. And I just kind of built it around that plant that was already here. Threw in some logs. I had that giant clamshell. I had it full of water in the summer. I've heard they like to take baths. Never once saw them use it. Ended up filling it with sand and grit, and they use that a lot more. Same thing over here. This was like a grit pile. Made just like a little nest box thing that flips open there. If you can see, yeah, there we go. Sorry. And they just put the food on top. I originally just put the dove food up there, but the quail go up there. So, anyways, lots of redundancy here. I got a lot of just various little water bottles. That's actually a dove seed in these little jars, but of course the quail eat it. Easter egg hunt every day, which is fun. This one they packed. So that will be monitor food. One thing that a lot of people recommend and do is they give after you eat the eggs, they throw the shells out here, and for the quail to get their calcium from, and re-eat the shells. I do not recommend that. I tried that for a little bit, and instantly I started seeing a lot more of those eggs with them peck marks in it. So it's just teaching them to peck the eggs. Do not recommend it, but that's a rather large jumbo quail egg. I got an automatic feeder system here. Same thing, just a PVC pipe with a little valve, shut-off valve there, so I can close it off. Use that as a funnel for putting the food in, and it works fairly well. If I were to do it again, I would do 245s here, or maybe some thicker pipe, but I think 245s would do it, because the food jams up in here, so I have to go in and stir it up a little bit to bring it down sometimes. Another automatic waterer attached to a large PVC pipe outside. And this is the oyster shells. All it is, it's PVC. I just, if you can see that, siliconed it to a rock. And we grind up oyster shells, need to be refilled, and put them in there. Very important. They need some kind of, it's like calcium. And we also have cuttle bones around that they're constantly picking on. So I throw those around for both the doves and the quail. And you see they get along fine. Not a problem. There's this silverback tuxedo. There's another one, a tuxedo. That's the Tibetan. Then there is that black and brown and white tuxedo there I just added. That was one we just held back, along with the small Italian behind him. Those are two females that I just held back. Another automatic watering system. These, when it gets low, the water automatically fills up. And then when I come out and do my morning routine, I'll bring some water and I dump it, and it rinses those out. And I do that every morning. I refill this little feeder, which is just a cup. I drilled some, it was like a I don't know, vitamin thing or something, and I just drilled some holes in it, and that's a great feeder. Works really good. So I have a lot of redundancy, so they have, a lot of food everywhere, a lot of water everywhere. We come out and collect the eggs daily and check everything, refill everything, but I can go away for 3 or 4 days and not have to worry about it. Hey, little guys. These are beautiful, beautiful birds. They stay together, mate for life. They're a nice addition. Make a great little quiet sound. I would actually wish it was louder. But have a couple little nest boxes up here that they use. They seem to alternate. Had one nest over there and then came over and used this one. But so just a little view into our setup. I have 17 birds in here. Actually 5 females. One of the white ones I thought was going to be female is a late bloomer and turned to a male. So that's why I'm holding over these other ones and adding more females. And but yeah, great birds. Can't say enough about them. Very productive. The chicks are just super phenomenal. They double in size every week, so they grow. That's almost my only complaint, is the little chicks grow so fast that they're hard to keep up with. But they lay like crazy. We get a lot. We get almost an egg from every female every day. And in the winter, it slows down to about half of that, but it's easy to adjust that with lights. It's not because of the cold weather that they stop laying eggs. It's because of the daylight. So if you just put a light out there, so they're still getting their 12 hours of daylight, they'll lay all year long for you. And so at full speed, or almost full speed. So anyways, here's a little tour. That's my new holdback that I just kept from the last batch right there. Anyways, so there's a little tour of how we do our quail here. from start to finish. All right. Thanks again. Appreciate you watching, spending your time with us. And once again, if you're learning anything, appreciate the subscribe and the like. That means the world to us. All right. Until next time, people.